Hello everyone, today we'll explore a range of Unreal Engine editor tips and tricks designed to improve productivity and streamline your development workflow. We'll cover some useful shortcuts, editor techniques and quality of life features that can help you build faster and stay focused on creating great content. So let's dive in. Okay, let's start. The first tip will be that you do not need to know the path to your asset in your content browser. You can just search for it with Control P, and then let's say we'll find hornbeam underscore forest underscore 03, or even without the 03, we can just browse here into the search results, and let's place this asset into our level. This is much faster than knowing where it is placed in our content browser and searching for it through the folder structure. So the second tip is that if you have an asset in your level and you want to browse to it into your content browser, so the opposite of the previous tip, you can click Control B and this will browse to the asset in your content browser. But the even better use of this tip is that if you, for example, have a couple different objects, so let me select some other type of object, let's say this one. So if I shift select this asset and this tree, and let's say shift select this rock, if I click Control B right now, it will automatically select all of the folders which contain this asset. So I have 3 folders active right now into my content browser right here, and I can place rocks, I can place this kind of palm trees, and I can place my hornbeam tree like this. So let's delete all the assets that we added right now. So we go to our tip number 3. In tip number 3, you can use math expressions in Unreal Engine fields for values. For example, into the scale field right here, if we know that this hornbeam tree is around here, the approximate size in the Unreal Engine details says it's around 15 meters, so 1500 units, and we want it to be, let's say, 25 meters. We can divide 25 by 15, and this will give us 1.6 as a value. We don't need to know this kind of value and calculate it outside Engine. You can directly type it into the field. So let's go to the next tip. The next tip is that if you use Control click and middle mouse button, so hold the Control key and hold the middle mouse button and drag up, left, down or right, you can change to an orthographic view. So Control and drag right will change to an orthographic view right. If you Control drag up, it will change to the top view. If you Control and middle mouse button drag to a diagonal, it will change to the perspective view. So let's now go into the right orthographic view. Let's move this tree in order to be a little bit easier to see right here. And we are going to the next tip, tip number 5. And this is that you can use a middle mouse button, hold and click in orthographic view to measure distances. So you can see that if I drag from the base of the tree to the top, you can see it's about 25 meters, which we wanted originally. The next tip is that when you create the folder in Unreal Engine, so you can see the level here is structured with some folders and some assets in the end. And if I place another asset, it places it automatically into the base structure of my outliner. But if I create a folder, let's say grass, and if I right click and make this a current folder, now all the objects that I place in my scene, let's say I'll place some ivy right here, every object that I place automatically goes into this grass folder because it's my current folder. And this saves you time in order not to be moving these assets later in order to organize your scene. And now let's go to the next tip. The next tip is that you can click on an asset in your outliner, then click Shift E, and this will automatically select all of the same assets that are used in your level. Say, for example, I don't like this Fern 5, or it has some technical problem or something like this, and I want to replace it with the Fern 1. You can just find a single instance of this asset, click Shift E, it will select all of them, and then drag this other Fern on top of it, and it will automatically replace it. And now let's go to the next example, which is similar to this one, but it's for different kind of actors, for blueprints, for example. If I go to my PCG and if I select my PCG small assembly, and I want, for example, to edit some value on this, and I want to edit it on all instances of this assembly. If I use the same trick with Shift E, it doesn't really work. It just has one item selected. So I need to use another type of selection. So Control Shift A, this will work for blueprints. I am now selecting the two instances of my small assembly PCG graph. And we'll now go to the next example, which is how we can bulk rename assets. For example, these ferns, let's say I want to rename all of them to have similar structure in the naming. So for example, you can see some of them have a padding into the number, some of them don't have this padding. And let's say I'll select all of them. I'll click Shift F2, and this will open the batch renamer. And right now, let's say we'll remove the suffix and we'll add an auto increment with a type with 3 numbers. And let's add a suffix of underscore. And like this, you can see that now we have proper naming for all of our items, not this kind of random naming. Let's apply it. The next tip is that if we select, for example, all of these ferns, and let's out drag and move them, and that's not the tip. I know that everybody knows that out and drag copies the object, but if I move them somewhere else, let's say here, they don't really match right now the terrain. And if I need to move every single one of them individually, I'll waste a lot of time. But if I just click the End key, they will all snap to the ground. And it's based on the bounding box of the mesh, so it's maybe a little bit off, but it's off with the same amount for all of them. So just moving them down a little bit, now they're all matching our ground of the level, and they're automatically placed. You can create a temporary pivot for your objects. For example, let's use our first tip with Control P and search for 413. Let's use this one. Okay. Let's move it and let's scale it to be bigger. So let's say that we want to place this tree over our cliff right here. So if I want the both ends to match, it will be really hard to guess how to rotate it. But if I just use our next tip, which is placing just one of the sides where you want it. So for example, let's focus on this tip to be here at the end of our cliff. So let's place it like this. And now we'll use the Alt and middle mouse button to click right here. And this will change the pivot temporarily while we place this object. So if I right now use the rotation, and again Alt and middle mouse button to move it, it will move with this new pivot, and it's much easier to place that way. So we have all these borders. Let's shift select all of them, and let's use our next tip. We can edit the selection in property matrix by clicking this button right here, you can edit values for all of the objects simultaneously, or just some selection of them. So for example, let's select random number of them and change the scale to 0.5, something like this. Let's select some others and change it to 0.75. And right now let's select all of them and let's search for physics, or I actually see it. So this simulate physics, let's click it. This is the actual tip that we are going to see next. So the next tip is that you can simulate physics, then you can press the simulate button in your level. All this object will run their simulation, and after they have settled, you can click the K key. They will be automatically saving this position, and if I click the stop right now, all these objects are automatically placed already in our scene. And now we can see the next useful tip. Let's say we don't know which rocks use this kind of method to place into our level. So for example, let's put some other rocks. So now we are not sure for which one we use the simulate physics, and we want to disable it for all. So let's find one which this used like this, simulate physics. Now let's go to actor colorization mode, property color, and by holding down control and clicking to the property that you want, now everything in your viewport which is using this value that you control clicked will be colorized in the same way. So now I can shift select all of these rocks and turn simulate physics off. And now I don't have anything with simulate physics on in my level. Let's go back to the lit mode and let's continue to our next tip. You can disable the real-time preview in your render. So for example, you can see all my trees are swinging into the air, and this is great to get the immersion good for the game, but in the editor it's just wasting resources. So if I click Ctrl and R, or go here into the options for the viewport and disable real-time viewport, now if I show you the stats for my GPU, as you can see, my GPU is right now around 18%. But if I go and enable the real-time viewport, which is the default, it goes to 91%. So I'm constantly running the top performance of my GPU just to render the viewport. But if I disable the real-time preview, like this, the viewport is only updated when you move the screen. So you can see now I have 60, 70, 80%. But if I stop updating the viewport by not moving it, it is automatically reducing the volt for the GPU that I need. So let's go to our next tip. And the next tip is that you can open a new details panel from the window details and open another details panel. And this is very useful if you want to compare different values between two different objects. And I usually use it, for example, for post-process volumes. So if I duplicate this post-process volume and let's pin it into one of the details panels, and I select the other post-process volume in the other panel. So I have now the two different post-process volumes selected, and I can just scroll and find the same value in both of them in order to see what kind of changes I need to make. Now let's go to the next tip, and the next tip is that if you change some properties a lot, for example, for our post-process volume, let's say we change the exposure compensation, for example, or something like this. So right click and add to favorites. So right now, if I click the favorites icon, everything that you have as a favorite will be on the top. And let's say we'll add this as a favorite as well. So you can toggle the favorites on the top of your details panel in order to change all the settings that you want. So our next tip is that you can copy some compound values from one object to another. For example, if I want to copy the rotation of this rock and apply it to this rock, you don't need to remember it or copy one by one the X, Y, and Z coordinates. So I can shift and right click the rotation of the original object. So shift, right click to copy. Then if I go to the other, shift and left click to paste. And now the rotation is the same. I copied all the values together from one of the objects to the other. The next tip can be really useful if you are debugging some problem where you need to know what is rendered in your current frame or not. And let's load another level to show this. For example, this open world level. So, for example, in this open world level, if I type into the console freeze rendering, and now if I look back, you can see all the landscape which is not in front of me is not being rendered. So you can debug objects that need to be occluded, for example, behind something else or something like this, without the engine re-rendering everything, so you cannot see the change. So if I type freeze rendering again, it will unlock the freeze of the render and everything will re-render as needed. And let me show you the last tip is that if you use PCG to spawn objects, like this example in the Electric Dreams scene from Epic is using, the PCG graphs by default has this option turned off. So if you go to this graph, and this is the static mesh spawner, which is spawning this big rock. So by default in PCG, everything is marked to not be used as a occluder. So all the objects behind this one will not be removed from rendering. And this, of course, doesn't really apply for nanite, but if you're not using nanite, but using PCG, you can mark this to be used as a occluder. And right now, if you can see this object in the back, this kite with Unreal Engine logo, if I go in a way that it's not visible behind this big rock, and if I freeze the rendering, you can see that now this kite is not visible. The one that is visible is a little bit to the side of the rock. So if I unfreeze the rendering right now, you can see that now I have two objects. If I go right here, this is occluded behind the rock. So right here, you can see now the other kite is not visible. If I unfreeze it, now it is visible. These were the 20 tips that I think will help you work a lot faster and finding problems and organizing your scene and just working in the editor. If you like this video, please like and subscribe for the channel. If you want to watch these videos a week earlier, you can join the channel. Into the higher levels, you have access a week earlier to see the videos. And I want to especially thank to all the highest levels members of the channel. You really help me to continue to do this. And guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.